evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Man, do we have a good one for you. You know what I love? I love personal experiences. It's one thing to bring on researchers. It's another thing to bring on people who are out there in the field trying to figure out what's going on. It's another thing to bring on people who are scientists. But the true heart of the matter is when people are having experiences of themselves, and they can go into detail. Tonight, we have that with Nikki Noelle. We will bring her in here in just a few moments. But first, let's say hello to everybody in our chat room tonight. Gorgeous Jenny Metz takes home the gold medal position tonight. In silver, the lovely Cosmic Floor 11 takes home the bronze. Gorgeous Aussie Ange is here. SJ, good to see you. David Les Paulson, how are you? Grandpa Holland, nice to have you here. I hope your new PRS is playing nicely for you. As we scroll on down, because there was one hell of a conversation going on here. Nicola, nice to see you, man. Thank you for coming on in. And where are we? Here we are. 416 Bitcoin, good to have you here, brother. Nice to see you. Andrew, good to have you back, buddy. It's always a pleasure when you are here. Stewpot, good to see you. Thank you for coming on in. Jeffrey DeRuin, nice to have you here. As we scroll on down to Mama Susan and Stu Gerson's here, everyone. Stu fucking Gerson. Yes. Right there, buddy. Nice to have you here. All right. Moving on. Mennonite Abe, good to see you. As we scroll on down here to a little bit more. And, there's Brother Gary. Brother Gary from P3 Productions. Michael Smith, thank you so much for kicking off the super chat tonight. Really appreciate your support of Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much. And Snakes, good to have you here. Agravane, nice to see you. And Irish Lincoln, Open-Minded Clarity. I'm Chad Smith is here. I am Chad Smith. Me, Chad Smith. And the other one's an imposter. And scrolling on down, Dog Next Door, good to see you. Hi, gorgeous Nikki from Washington State. And there's the lovely and talented Jenny. And Little Marky Spender is here, everyone. Little Marky Spender, a.k.a. Timber Hunter. He will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the right of the studio. Bring 2 pens because his dog Baxter will be signing autographs as well. Richard Elmore, how you doing, man? Good to see you. And good to see you. Hey, Super Duke is here. Super Duke will be signing autographs as well after the show, and line up to the right of the studio. We got Little Marky Spender and Baxter on the left. We got Duke from World Bigfoot Radio on the right. It's going to be a power show tonight with both of them signing autographs. So this is a good one. Very, very good one. And, let's see. Who else do we got? Taywaz, nice to see you. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Always wears me out saying it 3 times, Sandra. I don't know why you make me do that. Bev, Alien Visits here. How are you? Nice to see you. Logan, good to have you here, my friend. Oh, there she is, everyone. The Wheat Queen herself, the gorgeous Manitoba Becky has arrived. And who else we got? Tiniest Squish, where have you been hiding lately? How are you? Good to have you back. Spanish Fly, Hex Star, nice to see you guys. Rich Hilke's here, everyone. The Rich Hilke. Uncle Dale and his Power Stash are here, which means if you are in Austin, Texas, and you run into Uncle Dale, rub his Power Stash for 14 days of good luck, everyone. 14 days. The lovely Carol Indy is returned. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, you are looking marvelous tonight. Thank you for joining us. Vincent Proto, how you doing? Good to have you here. Mark Ellens, Dirty Fylth, and Big J, nice to have you here. The gorgeous Helena has returned, everyone. Project Blue Book. The lovely and talented Amy Vegas O is here. Lovely Linda, nice to see you. Jello, nice to have you back, man. Thank you for coming on in. KJ Hawken, welcome to our chat room. I believe this is the first time you're here. We appreciate you coming on in. Mr. Apnea, it's always a pleasure to see you awake. At $5,900. Mike D for life, nice to see you back. The gorgeous Katie A has returned. Jeremy Jones, bonjour Pascal, comment ça va? And let's see, where are we here? Scrolling on down. Spookles, the awesome cat, looking lovely tonight, by the way. We love her around here. Travis DeLuca, nice to see you. And 509er, nice to have you here. Lovely Linda Bennett, good to see you. And Aiden, nice to have you back, buddy. The gorgeous Jordan Ashley Pettit is here, everyone. Give her a wave. She likes a wave back, too. All right. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Apollo 11, Cedric Creech, welcome to the show. Bombshell Bomber, thanks for coming on in. Big Fat Creep, Logan L, good to see you. Remember, a great way to support this show is through the Super Chat, and we are going to get going here on the show. See, I actually have a guest tonight. There she is. And Jose, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Dennis, thank you for coming. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. I'm telling you, we are in for a great show tonight because the one thing that I absolutely love is personal experiences with the phenomena. What is the phenomena? Why does it choose us? A lifetime of UFO activity. Imagine living like that. This is the life of Nikki Noelle, who has lived with the experiences of ET and UAP phenomena her entire life. Those experiences have her researching and searching for all of the answers as to why this phenomena has affected her everyday life. And we're going to bring Nikki in right now. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us on Spaced Out Radio. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. How are you? Oh, 1 second. We got you on mute here. There you go. There you go. Now you can speak. That's my fault.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
So glad to have you here. Now, did you ever think in your life, in the trials, tribulations, and the roads that you have walked, that you would be talking about aliens at your age?
No, absolutely not. It's overwhelming and crazy, but it has been a very healing and positive experience. So I'm just going with it. I'm flowing with it, and it's exciting. I'm glad to be a part of it and to help hopefully bring truth to us.
I want to ask you before we get into your stories, because we're going to have a lot of time for you to explain and go into detail about what you've gone through. But for you, on a personal level, did you ever think that this phenomena would play a role in your life, or has this come recently for you?
So I knew about it when I was a child. Like when I was 5 years old, I was aware completely of it. And over the years, after being told no one believed me, or it's in my dreams, and I started pushing it back. But I was always aware of it deep down inside. I knew something, I knew subconsciously. And then I struggled with addiction very much most of my teens and my 20s. And until I got sober, I didn't accept it and remember much of it. And in the last about 7 months, I have had tons of repressed memories come back that I blamed on dreams and my imagination. But I'm realizing that no, this was not that at all. And I'm one of many, many people who are actually awakening to this right now.
Why go public? Why make that choice?
So the day that I saw the UFOs of February 2nd of this year, I started filming every day, and I was realizing, okay, they're here every day, and I was remembering things, and I thought of everybody who was ever made fun of or ridiculed or said, you're doing this for attention, you're doing this for whatever reason. And not everybody has positive experiences. I mean, people have struggled and are traumatized by this. For them being told that they're not like they're mentally ill, essentially, it makes me just sick. And I just I went through a huge spiritual awakening, and I just stopped caring what anyone thought. And I'm going to tell the truth. I'm just going to tell everything that I remember and the truth. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I've met a lot of people who have also dealt with this their lives and have been totally confused by it.
So for you, though, to go public, I mean, there's a little bit of bravery that goes along with that. How long did it take you to make that decision?
Well, I guess it took 34 years for me to come to terms with it, my entire life. But the day I saw the UFOs, I started uploading them. At this time, I didn't remember all of my experiences with them from my entire life, and I kept them repressed. But as time went by, over a few months, I started remembering, and that's when I decided, on top of just posting the UFOs, that I was going to tell my story. When I met other people who had very, very similar experiences to me, and there's no way that we're all having the exact experience. When I started realizing how real this was when I gave myself to this and said, whatever, I don't care. I've always kind of not cared what people think, but this was always kind of a weird confession.
No, and I can see that, and I can appreciate that. And I know listening, especially in our chat rooms and on Twitter, there's a lot of fellow experiencers out there who will say, "Yeah, I got your back. I got your back. I know what you're going through. I know what that emotional level is." But for the people out there who are listening who do not understand the emotional level and the roller coaster that you go through being an experiencer, tell us a little bit about what that's like.
Oh, I mean, I definitely struggled with half of my life. I thought there was something wrong with me, that I was a bad person, that I just didn't understand. I ended up skipping school a lot of the times. I just completely lost. There were other things. I've also experienced a lot of trauma. And I mean, from an early age. And so I am convinced now that that was to prepare me for this journey I'm going on right now. And I mean, the world definitely, it got me to a place where I was very numb, and I didn't have any hope left in humanity. And then this started happening. And so this has been a huge this is like the first part of my life where I am on a good path, now that I'm being honest. So I struggled with addiction. I struggled with mental health. I dated very abusive guys, physically and mentally. I just was very lost, and I definitely let it get the best of me until I became honest with myself. So it was a roller coaster. I have gone through a lot, and it was very confusing up until now, especially being told by, people we trust that no, there's nothing out there. Everyone who sees that is crazy. Oh, no, that was the hardest part. People telling me no, no, no. And I'm like, yes, yes, I know what I'm experiencing. That was probably the hardest part of this.
Well, let's go down that road, because I think all of us who've had experiences have run into those personal roadblocks where people whom we're supposed to be able to tell anything to and share anything with all of the sudden turn their back on you because they think you're losing it, because you're talking about the phenomena. And all you're trying to do is use that trusted set of ears and heart that has been around you to support you all this time. And the only thing that they can think of is sending you into the nut house.
Exactly. I mean, that is basically where. And until my parents started experiencing it for themselves and seeing these black helicopters fly by, unmarked black helicopters, and they see the UFOs in the sky at this point, and they are now saying, okay, we believe you. And I'm 34 years old, so this took a long time, but it took me a long time to accept it as well. So I get it, but I went through this alone. So my son is going through this too, and I'm glad that at least I can be there for him and believe him and tell him I understand what you're going through. I feel very, very happy that I can do that for him because I know what it was like going through it alone.
Well, you know what? It's absolutely amazing that you have found the inner strength to come through this, because a lot of people haven't. This is something where a lot of people feel alone. They feel subjected to ridicule. It's ruined jobs. It's ruined careers. It's ruined families and friendships that are supposed to last a lifetime. How did you find that inner strength in order to stay above water?
Mindfulness was a huge thing. Up until 6 months ago, it was probably when I started getting comfortable with it and not caring, I guess. So.
All right. So, another question to follow up, because there's a lot of people out there who are going to be listening to this who are like, I don't want to tell my experiences. I don't want people to tell me that I'm crazy. I don't want to go through what Nikki Noelle has gone through, or Dave Scott has gone through, or many others have gone through. I can tough this out. I need to keep this inside. Is that healthy? Do you agree with that after taking so long to finally make that decision to come out as an experiencer?
I don't think everyone needs to go on camera and talk about it, but I think unless they want to, but I think people need to talk about it. I think you absolutely need to talk about it because I was in a very, very, very sick place for a very long time from keeping all of my feelings and emotions in. So I absolutely think people need to discuss it on camera. I think it's great because it ends up helping other people, and I'm more power to you if you do. But it's just tough. It's kind of a tough situation, but I think it absolutely, whoever you can talk to about it, it's very.
Okay. So you decided to actually use the Twitter realm and hashtag UFO Twitter of all things to come out with your experiences and said, "Hey, I'm an experiencer. I'm somebody who is going through this. I'm somebody who is looking into the phenomena because I want to know what's happening to me." I started a radio show over that, by the
Right.
way. But it's the one way I felt that I could potentially contribute. On a selfish note, contribute to myself and contribute to others who are going through the same thing. Why did you choose Twitter and hashtag UFO Twitter, which has turned into the place over the last couple of years as the place to be for UFO information on social media?
So I have had a Twitter since I've had it since I was 2009 is when I got it. And I haven't used it much. But when I started realizing, I heard about UFO Twitter and I started going there and exploring. And I saw how many different ideas there were and how many different, you're restricted on Google. So when you go to Twitter, you have access to everything, declassified documentations. I mean, there's just everything, people's experiences. So when I started feeling like so many people were sharing this experience with me and I could relate to people, I felt comfortable. once I kind of found a support group, essentially. I didn't go there looking for a support group. I just ended up getting a beautiful one who is like my family now, because they're the ones going through this with me. So it just kind of built from there. And I've just met such wonderful people there that I couldn't do this on Instagram. I mean, people are very judgmental. I mean, I post some of it on Instagram, but it's not, people aren't interested on Instagram about this as much as they are in the UFO community, in the UFO Twitter community.
Instagram is its own weird place. Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
anymore.
I actually, when I'm calming down after the show and I crawl into bed, I actually go on the Instagram reels because I want to see how stupid and ignorant people are. And there's a lot of that there. It's
Yes.
amazing. It's
I mean,
amazing.
there are a lot of fake videos that people that get like 50,000 like, and it's just confusing the community more than anything too. But people are very, I've had a great experience, but there are still people, there are trolls out there, and they definitely, and I am convinced that there are debunkers that are people working for the government. I mean, I know there are debunkers, but who are going on there and trying to confuse us on Twitter too, and throw and insult and ridicule and all of that.
It's
and
true.
People think I'm crazy when I say that. I'm like, no, you're crazy for not believing that.
No, I have actually talked to a couple of people who are insiders about UFO Twitter, and they will tell you they have told me point blank that it is now filled with spooks.
I believe that.
And as UFO Twitter has taken off, and you know what? I don't thank the young guns for very much in this field, but I thank them for UFO Twitter and creating that monster that it is. Love it and hate it at the same time, because without them, the information would flow. But number two, they've literally created an area where every spook who is working in this field in Washington, D.C. and around the world can literally go in there and get information about what people are talking about and keep up to date without having to do the dirty work themselves.
I know. It's so easy. How wouldn't they be watching? I mean, how would they not be? They are not, they don't, stupid. They want to know.
We just offered, oh, yeah, you want some aliens, you want some UFOs, you want the latest story that I broke from my sources, just hop on UFO Twitter, and there it is. It's
laid
amazing.
Out.
Right there. And it's funny because literally UFO Twitter is shooting itself in the foot with giving out information. I mean, but the good part about it is they're getting it out in public on a social media platform where everything just kind of works its way through. So that's kind of cool. But it can also be a dangerous place. There's a lot of trolls. There's a lot of people who are I don't want to call them skeptics, because I think that's the wrong word. They are people who just don't believe anything. Right. And the minute a story like yours or anyone else's comes out like that, it immediately brings out their fangs and they got to attack. How have you dealt with the backlash from the trolls on social media regarding your experiences?
Okay, so honestly, at first, when I first got on Twitter and started uploading the videos, I didn't know if I was going to make it. I was going to, but I was shocked by how much ridicule I got and how condescending people in the UFO community who I looked up to were to me. There were a few, but there were also a lot of debunkers and people who didn't believe me. But I was just shocked. I couldn't believe some of the things people would come up with, saying what my videos were. I mean, I don't believe that anyone can think that for the last 6 months I've been filming bugs and birds. I mean, I don't think anyone is that stupid. So I don't understand how they can go write this. But I look at the stupidity of it and I realize that I don't look at the ones like now I just don't care. And now I have a lot of people who stick up for me. But at the beginning, it was rough. I mean, it was rough. But I just ignored it and kept saying, remembered why I was doing this in the first place. And I met a lot of great people who actually started defending me to them. And here I am. I guess it's a day-to-day thing. And I have some days are much harder than others with this, but I have a great group of people who have my back. So they're the ones who are getting me through this every single day, definitely 100%.
I want to ask you about being an experiencer, because I've said on this show before, some of the most important words you can hear from the people care about, even strangers, is "I believe you."
It's
How
true.
how has it been for you when somebody comes up to you and says, "Nikki, I believe you"?
It is such a huge relief. Even somebody just taking the time to listen to me and hear me out, you know, I've had one of Liam's good friends who is a neighbor and used to play with Liam. And I was close with her. Once I started telling her about what was going on, she no longer lets her kids play with my son. So there is a lot of judgment. But what else? So it feels very good, but there is also a lot of that too. But I haven't had too many people in person. I had a meeting with Liam's school, and 3 of the teachers sat there with me because it was getting ridiculous. Like, they follow us everywhere we go. Everywhere we go, the UFOs are above us. And Liam was talking about it. Liam was asking his teachers questions. Why are you telling me there aren't UFOs when I know there are? And he was in kindergarten. So I had to have a meeting with the school, and I was so nervous. Like, what? This is my first year at an elementary school with my son. I'm a single mom, and I'm telling them about UFOs in our life. But they were the 3 most amazing people. They sat there with me and let me cry and said, you hear about this stuff and you don't think you're ever going to meet someone who does. And they told me I was brave, and they were just like, after that, I just didn't care. I was just so touched. And so if Liam's teachers and people from the faculty board can be there for me, then you know what? There are great people everywhere. There are just really bad people too. Everyone has a different agenda. So I'm lucky. I've had good experiences.
And you can hear the emotion in your voice, because anytime it involves children like this involving your son, I mean, you can't do anything about it. It's an uncontrollable phenomena. I'm really surprised that you even had that conversation with your son's school. I mean, because I just like, that is just wow. Like, I don't know if I could do that, as we got about 20 seconds left.
Yeah, it was like I said, I've been using my instinct, trusting my instincts, and I've been doing a lot better with that. And mindfulness has been huge. I just try to not think about it, I guess, more than anything. And it's possible. Like, once you get to a point, you can observe what you're thinking and say, I'm not going to think about that. But with this phenomenon, it's not as easy.
Nikki, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Nikki Noelle, what's it like to experience UFOs 24/7? We'll be right back on Spaced Out Radio with the second half hour right after this. That's a healthy start. Good job.
Thank you. It's great. I'm having fun.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
I mean, I'm a good talker. It's what I do.
That's what I do too.
Hey, yeah, why? That's a good thing to make a career of it. We're supposed to do what we're good at. and you enjoy doing this.
No, I just look the part. Hi, Tony Dewhurst. Welcome to the chat room tonight. And Pack Woman on Twitch. Nice to see you. And I'm Chad Smith, by the way. Host, Chad Smith. And the audience is loving you so far. Pascal, thank you for another awesome super chat. Really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you to Michael for kicking off the super chat tonight as well. Appreciate that. Thank you to Apollo, Simply Coco, who is drinking water tonight. Normally she has a very good beverage, but tonight she went with the healthiest beverage, water. And I appreciate you, Simply Coco. Thank you so much. And to Double Tim, thanks for the super chat as well. We are not doing live calls tonight. No, in hour 2, if you have any questions for Nikki Noelle, type them in capital letters in our chat room, and we will get those to her. Hi, the Michael Leger. The Michael Leger. And Smoky Mountain Wanderer, welcome back to the chat room. Luscious Jules, I know I said hello to you earlier, but I just wanted to say it. Let it roll off my tongue a little bit. Luscious Jules. Science Bob is here, everyone. Science Bob. Thank you, Science Bob, for that awesome super chat. And yes, I do have a face for radio. So thank you, Science Bob. Appreciate finally agreeing with me. And now, Simply Coco, is that warm water, ice water, or hot water tonight? I'd like to know that, if you don't mind. And hour 2 for questions, people. Hour 2, not right now. Hour 2. I think I'm missing somebody here. Hold on. I'm Chad Smith. And yeah, send hello to them. My like total thing in my head is I have like anxiety that I miss someone. So I'm literally scrolling through the chat room right now, making sure that I didn't miss anybody. I think I got everybody.
That's so nice.
Yeah. Dry Toast, the best name on YouTube right there. Dry Toast. It is ice water. Simply Coco has confirmed she is drinking ice water, everyone. And let's see here. Grantavius, good to see you. My brother Eugene, how are you, my friend? Much love to you. Game Vet, I know you can't hear it, but could you give us a honk if you don't mind, if you're driving tonight? That was one of the greatest things that has ever happened to be on this show, Game Vet. I'm not going to lie. Last night when you were honking your horn, I felt like a little child standing on the side of the road going like this, man. It was awesome. It was a great experience. Thank you for that. And let's see here. Look at Chad here. He says, Dave, you cracked me up. I'm up over here in Michigan working in a factory, and I just keep hearing, I'm Chad Smith. Vinny Barbarino, there he is, everyone. Vinster has arrived. We can officially call this an official show. Yeah, Vinny is here. We love Vinny around here. Even though he's got webbed feet, we like him. All right. Diecast and Racing, how are you? Welcome. All right. We have about 1 minute here. 1 minute. I'm Chad Smith. Are you Chad Smith?
I am.
What's your name?
Chad Smith.
That's right. I'm Chad Smith. And the lovely Ronnie sitting all alone in Spreaker. We love you. And hi, Sparkles and Penman. And I don't play acoustic guitar. No. I only play electric. And that I'm not very good at. Adam Lane, how are you? Welcome to the show. I'm Chad Smith. And Ryan Stacy, I did take a shave. You know, you're up. You're almost due. It's been 3 years. Love Ryan Stacy.
He's very nice.
He is a good guy.
He's very helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
I did a report with him.
Give me 1 sec here.
Okay.
Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are in this beautiful planet we call Earth. Thank you so much, and remind you that all of our archives are free. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with Nikki Noelle. We are talking about what it's like to have aliens 24/7. I've got them. She's got them. You may have them too. Nikki, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio.
Thank you so much.
Very glad you are here. All right, let's get into your experiences right off the bat. Let's go way back in childhood, because that's where you said it started.
Yes.
You know, so let's talk about that. What happened?
Okay, so my first memory ever, I was in my bed as a little girl, and I remember for some reason getting out of bed and looking out of my window, and I didn't know about aliens or UFOs at the time, so I saw this giant star just right outside of my window. And I remember being in my room, and there were like little tiny green and blue children. I don't know how to explain it because I didn't know anything at the time. I just knew there were green and blue children in my room, and they asked me if I wanted to play. That's all I remember. And then the next thing I know is I remember floating through my window and going on the star, and I remember it feeling like it was alive inside. And I don't remember details, but I remember being told that I couldn't touch the walls because I could get really hurt. I remember that. And then it kind of blacks out. And that's where I lose memory of that. So I knew that my entire life. And I ran down to my parents' room that night, and they let me sleep in their room, and they told me it was just a dream. And I remember bringing it up a few times and being told that it was just a dream. And my whole life, I lived with that memory, like blaming it on a dream, but remembering how vivid it was and remembering seeing those stars. And now as an adult, I see that exact same star, but not like right up at my window, but a very bright star. I see the UFO outside my window now, and that's when I totally put two and two together and realized as an adult that this was a real experience. And so that is when I realized that I had done that. So it was crazy. It was a lot to take in, and I knew a lot of people told me no, no, no. And that was the hardest, being confused, not knowing what's real and what's not, going through this, I think. But now I feel good understanding what's real, that it is real.
Well, that's good that you were able to figure that out. So my question to you is, going back, why didn't they allow you to touch the walls?
I don't know. I just was told I could get very hurt. Like it was maybe a lot of energy, or that's all I can thought of, that there was like a lot of energy. Maybe the ship, I felt like it was alive.
Alive how?
I just felt like it was conscious, like a conscious energy. It was weird. It's weird.
No, and trust me, I don't think there's anything wrong with that answer. I really don't think there's anything wrong with calling it weird. But for the audience who may not understand the strangeness of it all,
Right.
do you remember what it looked like? Do you remember what it smelled like? Were you able to get any of those senses going as to why it felt weird?
Um, well, at the time, I just thought it was a star. Now that I've had abductions as an adult, I can kind of make more sense of it. But I think as a kid, I had no idea what was going on. Maybe I was thinking it's alive because of the energy and just, I don't know. I'm still trying to piece it all together, but I remember it was a positive experience. I remember it not being scared and feeling okay, but I just kind of black out on it after those things happened.
So for you, how long do you think that experience lasted, that first one?
I don't, I, it would have felt like those 2 seconds, all like up until where I remember. That's all I would have thought happened. But I realized I had to have gotten home and I couldn't have just ended there because I woke up in my bed the next morning.
Now you were 5 years old at this
I
time?
was 5 years old when this first happened. And I just somehow know that was when it happened.
Now, being 5 years old and you seeing these little children-like creatures running around you or hanging out with you, what did they look like?
So they have big heads or big eyes, I mean, but they had like a heart-shaped face almost. That's something I remember. And I liked that. But the thing is, when you're having these experiences, you're in like a trance-like state almost, where you're not asleep. You're there having these experiences, but you just are kind of, I don't know what is happening, but you're just almost feel like I don't know how to, maybe in two places at once, or I don't know. It's so weird. It's really hard to explain, but I'm trying.
So these little beings, how many were there when you see them?
I don't, maybe 3 is what I would think. I don't know.
And did they touch you? Did they feel you? Or did you just kind of
I
know
I just
to
remember them
follow them?
running around my room. I don't remember interacting with them really. I just remember them like being on my rug and walking around the rug in my room. And then they said, "Do you want to like come play or do you want to come whatever?" I don't, and I got just a weird, I got a good vibe. I got a really okay vibe. And I felt like I recognized the star. And something that's always weird too. I have always been able to see like orbs and cloaked UFOs and I don't know, higher dimensional beings, I guess. That's just what I make of it. I don't know I don't know the true answers, but that used to always be around in my room right before these experiences would happen and right when I would go to bed. I always remembered these orbs and stars, be like bubbles, little tiny bubbles being in my room. And then I remember the room would get like really, really almost like shadowed, like a shadow or it just gets very peaceful. And I had a few abductions when I first started filming the UFOs as an adult. And I remember a lot more of that. Not as much the experiences, but the process of being abducted. I have some flashbacks every now and then. That's how they basically all come back through repressed memories. They flash back.
I don't like when that happens.
It's weird. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not sometimes.
Do you know when they are coming?
I don't know things like that. I just have these experiences. Maybe we all do deep down inside. So like, I don't know. Things for me have unfolded perfectly. Like, it was never too much. They have made sure to make, and same with my son. They've like, okay, me and my son were experiencing the UAPs outside in the front yard, and they were on the street. They just looked like stars. It was pretty late. He was up at like 10 something, and they pretend to be stars, but then they start flying around. And we were standing on the front door, and one of them, it was red, and it starts coming down the street closer and closer and closer to us. And my son and I both, this was at the beginning, so we both kind of got like panicked, and they pulled away immediately and went and pretended they were a star again. Like, every single time we have encounters with them, they're so concerned about me and my son's. It's crazy, but they're very cautious and concerned about how we are reacting to it. So that's very, I don't know what to make of it, but I appreciate it.
Let's go back to when you were 5.
Okay.
After this experience, when did your next one happen?
Okay, so I remember having a few experiences of floating through the window and kind of the same thing, the star thing, but I don't remember much of anything. And then that's when I started repressing it. I would say around 7 or 8 is when I really repressed it and wouldn't even pay attention to the stars or the bubbles, the orbs, the cloaked UFOs. I wouldn't interact with it. I just wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like the popular kids. I cared so much about that at that time that was like the last thing I was going to talk about. So when I think I've had experiences the whole time. I think I just didn't face them. I think I hid them from myself. And every time I would hear someone say, oh, I repressed a memory, or I would hear people talking about repressed memories, I would just be like, oh, that isn't real. Like, I would be like, no way. Because I knew that's what I was doing, and I would just reject it. So I'm seeing that now. I guess I accepted all of this like 7 months ago. So now I'm able to like piece things together and understand what's going on. It's kind of just a big cluster. And I started, when I was probably 14 is when I started struggling with addiction with alcohol. So I just blocked it all out. And I got worse and worse and worse with it until I was 26, 27.
But you're sober now.
I am. It's been 8 years.
8 years. Congratulations.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to give you a big clap for that, because I know there are a lot of people listening to this show and others as well who are addicted. And I'm someone who has been on the losing end with my 29-year-old nephew 3 years ago. So anytime I get to talk to a winner such as yourself, it makes me it warms my heart, because I know what it's like to lose.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of winners around here. And I know that, like, even just reading our chat room right now, everybody clapping for you and saying congratulations. I mean, you're worth it. You found your value. And
yeah, absolutely.
And we love you for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate that. I feel so much better now, even knowing this.
So let's fast forward to when you got clean.
Okay.
Because this is where you started researching a lot more about this subject.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you decided to get yourself clean and get yourself healthy again and feeling like a human being again with the great value that you have, where did you where did you decide, or when did you decide that you needed to go down this road of UFOs? Because that's another road that could take you down a really bad rabbit hole.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff regarding it. But like I said, it all unfolded perfectly. It was like everything happened exactly as it was supposed to. The entire time I went through a Kundalini awakening, and that was when I really started understanding things. So I got pregnant with my son when I was like 26, 27, 26, I think. And that is when I just got sober completely. So I still had a lot of trauma to heal from, because I went through a lot. And a lot of it was healing. But during that healing time, I was watching a lot of Ancient Aliens. I was watching a lot of things on space and physics, and I just got totally interested in the topic, and I just like dove into it every second I had when my son was asleep or napping or whatever. When I had a minute, I was looking up UFOs, researching, and it just became something I was like obsessed with. And I knew subconsciously, like, there was a reason I was so drawn to it, but I wasn't ready to accept it yet. It was like such a process of when I'm ready is when it happened. And I am just so thankful for that, because I don't think, if I would have found out about this, if I would have noticed the UFOs, 10 years ago, I would probably be dead, because I would have gone even crazier with my addiction. I mean, it is amazing that right when I become healthy and in a good place is when I recognize them. So that was amazing. But I was going through a spiritual awakening, and I started remembering like encounters, and I remembered the little kids in my room. That's when I accepted and remembered that, and started really thinking, that seems weird. But I hadn't seen the UFOs yet, and started filming them yet. But it was I became more comfortable and more comfortable with the topic. And then I guess the night that I saw them on February 2nd was the night that I was supposed to become aware of it completely, after months and months of going, I had crazy experiences with synchronicity. I mean, it was like everything. I would look at the clock every single time at 11:11, 12:12, 5:55. I would say something, and they would say it on TV at the same time, like just crazy things that my whole life I have said, oh, that's just a coincidence. Now I'm like, no, this can't be a coincidence. So synchronicity was a huge part of it. I mean, crazy part of it.
There's a lot of people out there who do not know what Kundalini is.
Okay.
To some it sounds something. To some, it sounds sexual. Some, it's a pasta dish, and others, the spiritual woo people, it means something completely else. So, explain what Kundalini is, if you don't.
Okay, so essentially, I was going through a really spiritual time where I was reading a lot about spirituality. I was reading a lot of Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra books. I was learning, basically, this was the time I was learning how to lose my ego I realized that we really are all the exact same thing. In essence, we are all equals. No one is better than anyone. We're all trying to do the exact same thing in different circumstances. And people who think that they're better or worse than others, it's just not true. We're the exact same thing. So I just started awakening to these things. I started realizing like the vibration in things. I started being amazed by flowers again and plants and a rock even. I was just completely blown away by the incredibleness of this earth. And so a Kundalini awakening is basically, I'm not the best at explaining this, but your chakras, it's when there's a blockage in your chakras. And Kundalini is, I guess, the snake in your chakras. And once you balance and you face certain things, and like once I faced my truths and my traumas and repressed memories, I became aligned and everything just like balanced out. And then I started, I guess you could say, I started seeing behind the veil. I started seeing the paranormal part of this. I started experiencing things. So that's kind of, I went from like not understanding at all, and one day everything was thrown on me. So that's kind of what a Kundalini awakening is. You just start understanding everything after going through a spiritual awakening.
I can understand that, as we have about 2.5 minutes before we're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Nikki Noelle is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, talking ET experiences. Do you remember when you started gaining your memory back regarding these experiences? How vivid was it for you?
Okay, so there is one memory that is very vivid. I remember basically, my abductions, up until I'm abducted, I remember everything. Up until I'm gone and blacked out, I remember everything. But the flashbacks come back. So I had one where I was floating essentially. And I remember an ET, I would say, with very big eyes. I don't know the color exactly right now, but I remember them looking into my eyes and essentially doing a scan of my entire life. I mean, I lived every single second of my life over when they looked through my memory. And it was a very intimate, like you feel like you're almost merged with someone else. And at first it felt like a dream. And then I realized, no, and I woke up that morning with a implant on the side of my leg. And I just knew that really happened. I essentially think they were looking through to see how I was doing. This was at the beginning when I started like experiencing all of this, at least on a conscious level instead of a subconscious level. So I remember not being scared. I am never scared. I feel like all of my experiences are healing for whatever reason. And I've heard of other people having good experiences too, which makes me feel like there are definitely good ETs and bad ETs out there.
And you've shared, and you've had both experiences?
Well, I have a weird experience from when I was a little kid that I don't remember much. I remember there being more than just ETs there. I remember seeing a human in military outfit there. Like,
right.
His head was his. I remember his hands were on his head. That's like all I remember.
All right. Well, on that end, we're going to get more into your experiences when we come back, because we are 1 hour down. We have the incredible Nikki Noelle, here on Spaced Out Radio, talking about her ET experiences, what it's like to be contacted, to what it's like having the family now involved in this phenomena. Can you handle it? I don't know. I don't know if I could, knowing that my family was involved. We've got a great show going on here tonight. It's all about the ET experience. Turn your woo up, put your tinfoil cap on, because hour number 2 is coming up next on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear. Good
All
job.
right.
1 hour
Thank you.
down. Look at that. Are you banging your bracelet on a desk or something?
Oh, am I? I might be. I'll take it off.
Yeah, because there just seems to be some clicking when you're talking. A lot of
Okay.
people talk with their hands. So I'm going to just put you on mute. I'm going to run my dogs outside. I'll be right back. Okay.
No problem.
All right. We'll be right back. I'm Chad Smith. I'm Chad Smith, everybody. Space Out Radio. Dave Scott. I'm Chad Smith. All right. I am back. And give me 2 seconds here. Get set up. Boom. Boom. There you are. That was loud.
It was.
That was.
I'm
Are you having fun?
having a great time.
Good.
Feels good. It feels really good to talk about it.
That is awesome.
I love it. Yes.
Jerry O'Brien, welcome to the chat room. Hey, Waylon, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. And Harvey Greensman, how are you? Super Ben from UFO Garage. If you haven't signed up for this UFO Garage YouTube YouTube channel, you are missing out because they are phenomenal. They are phenomenal, and Joe and Ben put on an incredible show, and we absolutely love them around here. So, excuse me. I am so sick of forest fire smoke.
Oh.
It's horrible.
Oh.
Horrible here right now.
Yeah, that's just dreadful.
Yes,
That's
it
sad.
totally is. Oh, I'm going to have to move my Sasquatch area again. And let's see who else is here. Well, we're good. I want to say a big thank you to Michael ×2, Science Bob, Pascal ×2, Apollo, Simply Coco, and Double Tim for the super chats. I am Chad Smith. Sitting here is Dave Scott. And yeah, that's me. I'm happy to be here. And I'm going to try some iced tea. Perfect. We got 5 seconds. We're going to have a good time here. Here comes hour number 2, everyone. Hit that subscribe button if you're brand new. Let's do this thing right now.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for checking us out. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are, this beautiful planet we call Earth. Want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio at KPNL. All of our archives are free. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam is set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. I don't know what this is, Clam. Ratiocinate. Ratiocinate is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight. What it's like to live with extraterrestrial experiences that happen very, very often. It's a life that not many can truly handle, but one person who is doing it very well and going public with it is our guest tonight, Nikki Noelle, and she is here to talk about what it's like to live with alien contact. Nikki, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. What's it like to live with ET contact?
Well, I feel good about it. I think we all came down here at this time. I think there's a reason we all come down here, and I think it's very cool to be a part of this time when disclosure is actually happening, and I feel grateful to be a part of it. So.
For you, as your journey continues, you continue to have contact.
Yes.
What's it like, or how? Let me rephrase that if you don't mind. How does it happen?
Okay, so for the actual abductions, it usually, if I'm awake, it will be and it only happens when like Liam isn't there. If I'm awake, it's when I'm like upstairs in my room, typically in my closet or bathroom. Usually, I think basically my closet all the time, maybe my bathroom, but I noticed this right after we got back from Florida, and a black helicopter followed us there too, everywhere when we were on Florida for spring break. It was crazy. But when that week we got back, I was in my closet, and all of a sudden, it got, like, extremely calm and quiet. And, like,
Your audio is cutting out on us.
okay.
You're freezing up on us a little bit, but I think we're about to get you back here. So the black triangle, you realize that you were being followed by a black triangle. Take it from there.
A black helicopter who
A
follows
black
us.
helicopter. I
Yeah.
apologize.
So, okay, so that's where I was. Okay, so the week we got back from Florida is when I started like realizing I was being abducted during the day. So my son would be in school, and I would be getting ready for the day in my closet. I would be getting dressed in my closet, and all of a sudden the room would get this like this very shadow vibe to it, a very still, calm vibe. It almost feels like I'm in a different dimension. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It just feels like or maybe a presence, a different comes down. Like I'm still there, but I'm somewhere else is the only way that I can explain it. But it gets a very weird vibe where it feels like you're somewhere else, but you're still in your closet. But it's peaceful and quiet. And then so I heard a beep, first here's what happened. So I felt a shadowed presence that was cloaked. I don't know how I can feel that behind me, but that's what I felt. And I got I went into I heard a beep from behind me, and then I went into this trance-like state. And right when I heard the beep, I looked at my phone and I looked at the time. I just thought to look at the time because I had seen the UFOs. I had known what's going on. And I looked at the time, and I basically black out. I come to I think it was 33 minutes later. I'm not sure. I have it written down. But I lost like an hour or at 30 minutes, an hour and 3 minutes, 33 minutes of time when that happened. So, and then that was another time where I came back and had a little tiny implant in my lower leg. So
how did you know you had got an implant from that incident?
Okay, so after it happened, I just I accidentally brushed by it on my leg, and I just could tell. But 2 months before I started recording the UFOs, I had woken up one day, before I was aware that there were UFOs around me. I had woken up and I took a shower, and I realized that there was a bump on my leg. And I was like, this does not feel, this was the first one I noticed. And it was before the UFOs, I had noticed them. And I jokingly made a comment to my friends that day. Oh, the aliens came and got me. They put an implant in me. This thing is weird. It's not like a bump. It's like something's in there and it's rolling around. And I just made that joke and I didn't think twice of it. And then when I saw the UFOs and started having these experiences, I started checking my body every day and just seeing. And I have one in my ear, I think both ears, but this one in my ear beeps and vibrates, and I get a low hum every single night, around 10:30. I get this weird hum vibrating. It's hard to explain. I feel like I'm being upgraded half the time. But it just I think there are a lot of different reasons for the implants. I'm not sure what they are, but they're there. They're happening. People definitely get them. It's very obvious to tell what is and what's not. They don't go away ever. They just stay exactly like that. They all have a weird little scar on them. I also have this weird circle on my foot that's been there since this started. It looks kind of like a brand, but I don't think I was intentionally branded. I mean, I'm not trying to defend anyone, but there are just I've woken up with like the color of my arm having streaks on them, and it's like not from a tanner, or it's like my actual skin. So I have like little dots, little white dots in a very weird pattern on my chest right here. So there are a lot of different things that like you wake up with and you're like, oh, okay. And I somehow am never, I just am never have a bad vibe about it. I don't know why. I just never feel scared.
I want to ask you regarding your reasoning that you're never scared, because the idea of losing time or having missing time is absolutely freaky to me.
No, it is. I just, to be a mom and I've gone through so much, and I've been abused physically a lot, and my whole life was like trauma. I just, honestly, all I can think of is it was preparing me for this. Like, if I am going to be scared, if I'm going to choose fear, if that's what I'm going to do, I just realized also there's nothing I can do. I mean, what am like I have so little control over what is happening to me. I just laughed about it and said, I have to just be positive. And, luckily the experience has been positive as well. I am aware that it could change. I'm aware that anything could happen, but just taking it day by day and laughing with my kid and trying to be present with my kid is pretty much what I try to keep up with.
Okay, there's always going to be the people who are critical, if not skeptical, about people with implants, people who have missing time, because there really isn't any proof to it. We could only take your story, my story, any experiencer's story, and we either have to choose to believe or not believe. So, for the critics out there or those who may not understand, why is your story important, and why is it, or why would you want a skeptic to believe that this is something you're going through?
Okay, so I have a few things to say on that. A lot of times people are saying you're doing it for the fame. I can't think of one abductee who got rich and famous for telling their story. I mean, I've been ridiculed. I would never get sober, and after 8 years of sobriety and 6 years of being a mom, just decide to come out with this story. I would have done it when I was like a mess. So I have a lot to lose. I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. I'm judged every day by women and my son's, other mothers. And I'm choosing to still do this because it's extremely important, because it's real. It's really happening. No, it's real. That's all I can say. And people are living through it every single day, and they're ruining their lives. And shame on you for just believing the government. I mean, how can you just wake up? You are born, and how do we just trust everything we're told? Of course, there are things like this happening. They aren't going to tell us because they're not going to be able to get away with certain things if we know this much detail. So that's one thing I have to say. Everyone who's ever felt alone, and because I've been there, man, I spent a lot of my life alone dealing with this in different ways. I'm maybe not thinking about it my whole life, but I knew deep down inside, people are throwing their lives away, wondering if they're crazy or not. I mean, regarding this stuff, and they should at least know we just want answers. More than anything, I just want to know what you know. What does the government know? Give us support groups. Give us something to help. Give us something. Don't keep continuing to tell us we're crazy and set it up on Google for us to make us think we're crazy. Literally, Google was the worst place to go when I first started researching stuff. It made me feel like I'm nuts. And then once I started,
I'm gonna cut you off right there because you're starting to freeze up a little bit. But I think you bring up a very good point right there, because for a lot of experiencers, it is a lonely feeling. And look, there are always people to stick up for the skeptics a little bit, because I think we all need to be skeptical.
yeah,
There are a lot of people who are lonely who would do anything for 5, 10, 15 minutes of fame, even if that is UFOs. I mean, I've had guests on here where I'm listening to their experiences, and as an experiencer myself,
right,
I can sit there and say, I don't believe you.
right,
Okay. But for those who are experiencers, those who have really, really, I don't want to use the word been traumatized, but who have gone down the rabbit hole heavily, let's say, you can tell when someone's telling the truth
right.
and when someone is not. So that's the reason why, like, in hearing your voice, I know that this isn't BS to you. This is a real phenomena that is happening around you at any time. And I really don't mind putting my neck out on the line for that. Could I be
Oh,
wrong? Sure.
thank you.
Right.
I appreciate that.
But the point that I'm getting at is, none of us experiencers really have proof. The last thing, that I have ever heard an alien say when I've been taken is, hey, bring your phone.
Right.
Right. Whether
You're
to call,
not in that mindset. You can't just grab your phone. I mean, it's not like that. So I get people don't get it. And I understand. I don't mean to laugh at it. But I mean, you certainly aren't going to. And people are like, take something from the ship. Oh, yeah. Because that's what we're thinking about when we're there. We're thinking about what we're going to take with us.
look,
no.
when you wake up on the steel table like I did, with the feeling of little children's fingers running through your hair,
Yeah.
the last thing you are thinking about at that moment is, let me grab a scalpel or their drill or a piece of their clothing, or, scratch one of them so I get DNA under my fingernails.
Right.
You're like, holy cow.
You're just right.
Is this a dream? Is this real? Is this truly happening? And I don't think a lot of non experiencers understand what truly goes on, because you are in a fog when that is going on.
Right. I don't think we're supposed to remember the details we remember most of the time.
Absolutely. So how often are you being taken?
At first I was noticing, when I first was noticing, it was happening like a couple times a week that I was aware of because I was awake. Some mornings, my son has been sleeping in bed with me since this started. I mean, he's going through it, but he is so brave and being so positive. But I mean, it's definitely affecting him a lot. But hold on, remind me what your question was again?
Well, just in regards, that actually brings up a good point. I do want to switch subjects here
Okay.
in regards to it, because you've brought up your son Liam a number of times already during this show, and he now plays a big part in your stories on what's happening. So, do you recall the first time that he was taken?
I don't No, I don't know if he has been taken yet. I just know that I'm sure he has, but they've made it very, I did notice something on his leg when this first started, when I first started noticing, but I I have begged them to just keep him out of it, but I know that's not very realistic. But I did notice some weird marks on his legs. It was there for about 4 days. It was just a weird color. It was like a weird purpley color. It wasn't a bruise. It was almost, I don't know what it was, but that was the one time I noticed something. He's seeing the cloaked UFOs that I can see, the orbs and the higher dimensional beings we see, or the bubbles and stars. He isn't remembering like abductions yet, which I'm very thankful for. What he's more scared of, he likes the UFOs. What scares him is when the black helicopter starts flying low to us, like trying to intimidate us, and it's very clear that it's for us, because it's not always late at night, but they're there a lot. And that is what my son is scared of. If this is our government, we don't know who it is, but it's a pretty obvious thing. I don't believe it's our entire government. I believe there's a shadow government, definitely. But, he just is very terrified of that. And I am too. I get really bad vibes when that thing is flying like low to the ground above my house at 1:00 in the morning as I'm filming UFOs. It's always happening when I'm outside filming UFOs. And that's what scares my son.
Is there an army base or a military base or an airport near you?
So there's Leavenworth, which is like an hour, 45 minutes away. But they also followed us. I have it all on camera in Florida to Disney World. I've uploaded everything. Like, this black helicopter has been by our side since I started filming these UFOs. It's a different one, I know, but it's been black helicopters. So when we were in Florida, we went to Disney World, and when we got in Orlando, the helicopter would follow. My dad and mom didn't want to believe it at this time, but the helicopter circled our condo the whole time we were there. And then every time we would leave, the black helicopter, they weren't hiding it either. They followed us to the parks, which was about 20 minutes away from our condo. And then they circled the entire park until we left. And then they followed us home on the freeway and circled above our condo. And that's what's happening here. Like, I don't see them every day like I did in Florida. But it's like, I know there are always UFOs above me. I see them going at them, flying like to the stars that are pretending to be UFOs. I said that backwards. The UFOs pretending to be stars. But it's very obvious that there aren't stars hanging. Like, people just aren't even paying attention. They're just people in my neighborhood don't even like notice this stuff, because they just are like, oh, it's a star, and just look away. Like, I think people need to start looking at the stars really good and seeing like what is going on, because it can't just be here.
That is very true in regards to what you were experiencing. These helicopters, as we got about 20 seconds left, what did they look like?
They're all black, unmarked. They're Blackhawks. And my dad noticed them too. Sometimes we have them on radar. We have like a Blackhawk on radar right above my house when it's flying, when I hear it, when it's like flying above my house.
I'm gonna get you to hold on right there, because we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about the black helicopters and anything else that is following our guest. Aliens, government, helicopters, UFOs. Throw in some Santa Claus at Christmas time. We got Spaced Out Radio. We got Nikki Noelle. We're going to continue right after this on the Mighty SOR. All right, we're clear.
Wonderful.
We'll get to audience questions next. Make sure you put them in capital letters. Hi, Alan Hold. How are you, buddy? Data Derivations. How are you? Oob to Joe's Main. You've got aliens, literally, not figuratively. And Miss Pickles. Good to have you back, Miss Pickles. Yeah. It's a good show tonight. Good show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's awesome. It's awesome energy here hanging out with you.
It's the power of the tea.
I have coffee. I will be, it affects me though. So I need to slow down or I will be up all night.
Brian Nguyen in the Spreaker chat room. Good to see you. Just Bees now. Come on, I miss Sleazy Bees. Bring back the Sleazy Bees. I miss your name. Yes, I do have aliens, Joe. So do you. All right, big question for you, Nikki.
Uh-huh.
And no fucking around with this one. Most important question you were going to answer all night long.
Okay.
What's your opinion of eating breakfast foods for dinner?
Oh, that's what I do. I love it. No? Me and my son go to IHOP for dinner. My son doesn't eat like much. Oh no.
That's terrible.
No.
You know, so much hope for you.
No.
Then you drop that bomb.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Typical Watch. How are you? All right, we're going to quickly do this because everybody knows somebody who's Dutch, and everybody's probably patted down those Dutch people to make sure that they could see their first dollar. All right. Well, my favorite Dutchman is Gary the Dutchman from Mighty Moose Beard Oil, mightymoosebeard.com, one of our sponsors. So, because I don't have much of a beard right now, I use it in my hair too because it's all natural, no chemicals, and it feels great, it smells great, and it's in Canadian money. So all you do, you give a little poke like that, drop it in your hands like so. I am using the Winter Blend tonight because it's my favorite. Rub it in your hands and just massage it in. That's it. Oh, no, this is not the Winter Blend. This is the new one, the True North. Smells Canadian. You can smell Canadian too. But you know what? You still got it on your hands and they're all greasy. And you're like, what the hell do I do with this? Just put it in your hair. That's it. Naturally oils your hair. Looks good, smells good, feels good, and it lasts. So this is what you got to do if you want to get some, men or women. Go to mightymoosebeard.com. You tell Gary the Dutchman that literally you want to use promo code SOR2019. He's going to grate his teeth because there's nothing more a Dutchman hates than giving anyone a deal. They don't like that. But just for you SOR listeners, if you use promo code SOR2019, Gary the Dutchman is going to give you a deal. Remember, all prices on the website are in Canadian dollars, which means that if you're American, you're saving a bunch of money, and he ships down there. So check it on out. MightyMooseBeard.com. Support the Dutchman. There. Now I'm done. And I smell great, too.
That's good. That's very important.
Yes. You were like, what the hell is going on here?
No.
Yeah,
I've been in weirder situations.
Yeah.
No, it's not weird. I'm kidding.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Andrew, for the amazing super chat. Really do appreciate that. It says, great guest, Captain. Do alien gnomes count? They always count, man. Always count. A big thank you to Ben from UFO Garage, Apollo, I'm Chad Smith, Michael ×2, Science Bob, Pascal ×2, Tim, Simply Coco, and Apollo again. That would be Apollo ×2 as well. We appreciate you for supporting this show. Thank you to all of our new subscribers, and let's make it happen right now. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with our guest, Nikki Noelle. I keep wanting to call you Nicole.
That's my real name.
But
you
Nicole
just know me.
Nicole Sakic was our guest last night.
Oh,
So this
I
is
saw
where I'm
that.
confused.
She had a Nicole name.
Yeah, she's pretty damn smart too.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I apologize for that. But you're an experiencer, and we're talking about that. And we were talking about the black helicopters that seem to be flying around. How are you able to track them? There's a few questions in our audience about that.
Okay, so I have some, it's free. It's called Flight Radar 24, and anyone can get it, and it shows where planes and helicopters are flying, but the time that the black helicopters are flying, they're not always here. We just they don't always show up on radar. So they'll be on radar, but then they won't, and they'll fly above my house and they won't be on radar, but they'll show up on radar somewhere else. And it shows that it's a Black Hawk. Like I have it. I have pictures of it on I'll upload some on my Twitter and show like the timing. The other day they followed us. They were at the zoo. They came it's about 30 minutes from my house, and they flew by right where we were at in the zoo. They're really quick. So like they're very fast, but they make themselves known. They're not trying to hide at all. They're not trying to be stealthy. They're not trying to, they just are trying to let me know they're there. That's how I feel after experiencing it. And, there are a lot of helicopters that fly by. So I always, these are like extremely low, and you can see the detail of them. I have a lot of pictures and videos of them on my Twitter.
So you have filmed them.
Oh, I have them every day for the last the last week. They were here every night almost every night. Unless I didn't go, like there was maybe a night or two I didn't go outside and fell asleep late at night, and I didn't, but we saw them during the day too. So I always have my phone on me. And I have them at Disney World. I have videos of them, and I have videos with UFOs and the black helicopters too. Like when I say I have 6 months of footage, or 7 months now, I mean like every single day, morning, lunch, dinner, if I'm awake the middle of the night. I mean, there's always multiple UFOs above me, not always making themselves known, like pretending to be stars, obviously during the day. They will like cloak and turn their lights off and turn them on. It's very weird. It's like they know when I'm watching. They know when I'm filming.
I can understand that. It's not a comfortable feeling. Cool feeling, but not
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, it's
Sinister
weird.
Vax wants to ask you, Nikki, have you ever thought about hypnosis to try and fill in the blanks of your childhood experiences?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to do that at this point in my life. I've heard that it works very well, and I just want to find the right person because that's been my problem. I've tried to talk to, therapists about this, and I end up getting judged like before I even start telling my story. So I just want to find the right person that I can do that with and make sure but I don't even know where to start looking for it. Like, I'm so new to this, like, except like being aware of this and dealing with it. But yes, the answer is yes.
Leslie Mitchell Clark in Toronto, Barbara Lamb in California. There's a couple for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write those down.
We'll get you hooked up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll get you hooked up. A lot of people do not recognize a helicopter, a civilian helicopter, from a military helicopter. Outside of them being black, are there any markings on these helicopters that you have seen?
No, they're all completely black. They're all blacked out. Their windows are completely blacked out. The only reason I know is because I've been like, I wouldn't have known this a long time ago. I've seen a lot, now that I look back, I've always seen these helicopters. I didn't realize they were black. They weren't coming as close to me, but I always noticed them around, but they sound different too. They're just so loud and so close, and you can tell, like, they're just so close and then when you get them in the picture, you can see that it's what it is. They're just very close to the ground. It's bizarre. And I've heard a lot of other experiencers deal with this, or just UFO sightings. A lot of people are seeing more and more of the black helicopter. Oh, cattle mutilations. They show up at every cattle mutilation. Can't say every, but I mean a considerable amount. The Men in Black phenomenon, they were showing up at all of them. A lot of people who were seeing them, the black helicopters. The black helicopters have been going on since I read the other day, 1980, I think, is when it first started becoming a thing with UFOs. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was around the 80s.
Okay, so have you ever, outside of the helicopters, been followed or approached by Men in Black?
I have never dealt with Men in Black, but my entire life I've felt like I was being watched, and that could be the UFOs, obviously, but so many times I've just felt like I've been followed, and it's not in like black cars that are obvious. I just have felt like I've always been like observed, and now that I'm experiencing this, I am starting to see that I have. So it's crazy. It's a lot to take in.
But you can also feel that, though, if you are continually being taken or shown UFOs.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So it could be anything. I mean, who knows that's what I'm saying. We need to know what's going on.
Right. And I think that's kind of truthful. So the extraterrestrials whom you've had contact with, who are they? What do they look like?
Okay, so the ones that I remember, I wouldn't have known at the time, but now that I know, it's like they look like a praying mantis, because I remember the heart, like the heart-shaped head. That's what I remember. But the ones that I saw, I really feel like they were kids. Like, I feel like they were younger. They weren't tall, they were little. I mean, I believe they were littler than me at the time. but I remember they looked something like a praying mantis, and I remember them having a bluish, turquoisey, tealish color to them. And I remember, I could be getting mixed up, but I remember their eyes being sparkly. I remember big, big, huge, sparkly eyes. I mean, that could be, who knows, but that's something that always kind of stuck with me.
Very true. Very true. So, have you mainly dealt with grays, or has there been any humanoid beings or reptilian type beings?
I don't remember any reptilian, thank goodness. I remember grays, but more than anything, I remember humanoid. Like they are, but you can tell they're aliens, but they look very much like humans. And then I remember these praying mantis beings more than anything. Those are the two main ones. I remember grays, and I remember that I'm pretty sure it was a human. I'm pretty sure it was a human in a military uniform. So I remember around that time, that's when I remember the grays too. I don't remember the grays, I don't think right now. I think from my experiences and my flashbacks, I'm positive I can't be positive, but I'm pretty sure it's the mantis and the humanoid people from alien people.
All right. Let's go to Mennonite Abe's question. Do you feel like the abductions is a physical event, or could it be in your mind or dimensional?
I think closer to anything. I think it's definitely physical, but I also think it could be a dimensional thing too. Like I said, and this is weird. It's very hard to understand. But when when I first realized I'm being taken, the room almost like lights, like turns a different color, and it gets a different vibe, like right before I lose time or whatever, and I hear that beep. So it feels like you're in another place, but you're still there. Your body's still there. Like I remember my body floating through the window when I was a little girl, when I was being taken to the star that I thought at the time. So I think it has to be. Maybe there's a way for both. Who knows?
Well, it is interesting. That is for sure. In regards to ET contact, the ETs that you have dealt with, though, you've never really had a real bad experience yet, though.
No, I don't. I've never woken up there and been totally conscious. My memories from the recent abductions, and again, I feel like they're trying to go slowly with. I feel like they're trying to be. I don't know why, but I feel like they are. I don't know why they choose to do this, but I know they're being cautious with. I feel like they're testing me to see what I can handle. And you know what, this is interesting. About after we came back from Florida, when we went spring break, that whole month, the basement door, which was dead bolted and locked, and we like double check it every day, kept being left. We would go downstairs the next morning and be playing outside the next day and see that the basement door that was dead bolted twice is wide open, not just unlocked, but wide open. This happened like, I think, a total of 7 times since this has started, and it happened today too. And at the beginning, I was like positive it was ETs, like just part of the phenomenon. But now I'm wondering, is it someone trying to intimidate me? Like, you just don't know. It's very confusing trying to figure out what is what is happening. What's the reason for this?
A lot of these situations can lead to a feeling of paranoia. Do you feel paranoid at all by all of this?
No, I was completely paranoid. Like when I first got sober, I could not leave my house for like years. When I was healing, unless I was leaving for Liam, or like something to, but even then I was uncomfortable. I was terrified. I was paranoid. I couldn't leave my house. I was terrified. And then once I like healed and, recovered, I just became like not paranoid at all. I think facing my reality was the biggest thing I could do for myself, because I think running and hiding from it was going to kill me. One way or another, it was going to kill me. I think me giving myself, saying, yes, this is real, doing that for myself was the biggest thing, the best thing I could do. So.
Do you worry about it? Are you concerned about it?
I mean, yeah, there are times where I definitely wonder what is happening, but overall I feel like it's like they're almost watching over me and protecting me. When I was in California and I was like a mess, I have been saved in like the most bizarre situations. Like, I would always be saved at the last minute, no matter how bad my situation was, some miraculous way. Like, I run out of gas and on the side of the road in a bad area in like LA. And the next thing I know, there are 5 people like coming and pushing my car to a gas station. Like, like what? Just crazy stuff like that happened all the time. And I feel, I don't know, I feel protected more than anything, I guess, which is weird, but I didn't always feel that way. Now I feel like I'm just not scared anymore. I mean, I sometimes get in my head and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I try to just laugh and be like, this is like a movie. This is just, but I think we all have a mission. I think we're all on a separate mission. I think all of our missions are equally important. I think we're all here to grow. And I think that the best way to live is making the best of any situation. I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to stay positive, even when my life is not looking positive. So I think mindset is a big, big thing.
What about for your little guy?
That is what I don't like to think about. That is when I start getting, that's where I don't like where my mind goes. I'm glad that, maybe I'm glad I can be there for him. I'm glad he can talk to me about this stuff. But I feel bad almost bringing him into this because he is in the middle of this, whether I like it or not now. But again, I just say, what can I do? And I can keep him as safe as I can. I can like pay as much attention and take him, and I'm going to have him talk to somebody. Definitely. I'm going to have him. But I just have to try to make the best of it. And I have to try to stay brave for him. I have to try to stay. So that's kind of that's what I'm focusing on.
Sasquatch is asking, do you have any type of premonitions before you're taken?
Yeah, I do. I get, synchronicity is a huge thing. I start looking at the clock and it's 11:11, or there are so many other things in synchronicity that I just can't think of right now. But there's always that calming feeling I get, that just intense moment of calm, that intense, that shadowed feeling where you are in this dimension, but not. That's always happening.
Interesting. All right, let's get to another question from Tony here. Would it not be a good idea for you to set up a trail camera in your bedroom or in every room to capture what's happening?
No, that's definitely a great idea. I would be open to that. I just don't have equipment like that laying around. I just don't have anything like that, and I don't know anything about that. I was definitely wanting to put security on that basement door for sure. But yeah, it kind of scares me putting it in my room. I don't know. I would be okay with it, but that's just like, I don't know if I'm ready for that right now at this point. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it would be a good idea. Yes, definitely. I would love to know, but at the same time, that's a big step, I think, is the word to say. A big step.
Very cool. All right, let's get to another question. Linda is asking, do you also have spirit activity around you as well?
Okay, so me and my son can both see. They're like little. They interact with both me and my son. They're like little. They're prismatic. They're little tiny stars and bubbles, and they fly around everywhere our room, and you can follow them. And my son will put his hand out, and it will. And only me and him can see this. So far that we've known. My friends have all tried to look at it, and me and Liam are the only ones who can see it. So yeah, we're constantly surrounded by that. We're surrounded by little orbs that just will appear. They're not like physical, but the weirdest thing is with the orbs is I see them appear like from something plastic or something like shiny. It's like they like, it's so weird. But it's like they somehow come out of a glass shower or a plastic something. It's very bizarre, but that's what me and my son both see it. So
you talked about implants tonight. Thomas is asking, do you have any? We know that you do because we've talked about it. How many implants do you think you have?
I know of the one in my ear, 1, 2, 3. I can count like 15 just right now. I'm wanting to actually, I was supposed to set it up this summer, but it's been crazy, but I'm going to go get like x-rays or whatever type of scan, and hopefully we can see something on that. I would love to meet with a doctor who does this kind of stuff. I would love for them to check it out. I would love to have some answers regarding that.
We have 90 seconds to go before we're going to take our break here at the top of the hour. Nikki Noelle is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, talking about experiences, and we're loving the audience questions here for her at this time. Let's get to another one here. This one comes from Lazarus, who believes or is asking, do you believe it's a generational thing within your family?
Oh, I can't believe I have not mentioned this yet. So I was adopted before I was born, and it was a closed adoption. So we don't know anything about my birth parents, my adoptive mom or dad, or me, know nothing about who they are. And 2 years I did Ancestry, and I was able to figure out like what I am. I always knew I was mostly Finnish, but we found out that I had like Welsh and a few other things. And I know that my mother was Finnish, completely Finnish, but I don't know anything else. And my father was, I guess, Welsh, but that's all I know from. So it's very interesting. I wonder about that a lot on this journey, especially with UFOs constantly surrounding me and my son. Where did I come from? Like, who is my birth mom? I have so many questions for her. Did she go through this? It's hard. It's hard knowing nothing about yourself or nothing. I know nothing except.
That's sad. That is very sad. But you know what? We got time to take a break and catch our breath. we would be honored to have you for another half an hour because that's what you're scheduled to do.
Yeah.
And Nikki Noelle is our guest, talking aliens, ET contact. When we come back on Spaced Out Radio next. Damn it, I cleared my throat while the music was on. That's going to be tough to edit out.
Oh.
All right. I'll be right back. I'm just going to run my dogs outside, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Be right back. I'm Chad Smith. Yes, I am. I am Chad Smith. See, he thinks he's Chad Smith. I'm Chad Smith. It's not even funny anymore. I'm Chad Smith. Chad Smith. Chad Smith. Chad Smith. All right. Old Davy is back. I'm Chad Smith. I don't know why, but I am. D. Swagger, how are you? Nice to see you. Trinity Paracryptid Research, good to have you here. You can't get royalties because you're not Chad Smith. I'm Chad Smith. Hector, what's going on, man? How you doing? Bim Jim, how are you, buddy? Still doing okay?
Mhm. Thank you.
I take my dogs outside, and first thing you get is the smell of fire.
I know. I remember that living in LA, but it was not like how it has been.
It's horrible. Drake C, how are you, man? I want to say a big thank you to Andrew, to Ben, to Apollo ×2, Chad, Michael ×2, Bob, Pascal ×2, Tim, and Coco for the amazing super chats tonight. It's a great way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. We really do appreciate it, man. And thank you for everything that you guys do. Thank you to all the veterans who listen to this show. Ozzy Steve, thank you so much for that welcoming super chat, man. I appreciate that. And thank you to all the regulars who are here tonight, tuning on in. We really do appreciate you. And Merle is here, everyone. Merle. It's amazing. We love the Merle around here. Give him a Merle, people. Let's load up this chat room with a bunch of Merles in there. We love Merle. Yes. Oh, here it comes. And we're going to get going right now.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are, this beautiful planet we call Earth. Thank you to everyone tuning in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. We have ratiocinate. Ratiocinate is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. I apologize for my voice, as it's really smoky here in British Columbia from all the forest fires that are surrounding my area, and they did a giant back burn. And literally, I take my dogs outside during the break because I have a studio at home, and it literally, everything smells like fire right now. It's horrible. The fire is like, I don't know, 15, 20 miles away, 20 kilometers, 23 kilometers away, but it still smells.
Oh.
Tired of it. Tired of it. Nikki Noelle is our guest, lifelong experiencer of aliens and UFOs. What kind of UFOs are you seeing?
Okay, so, they're not getting close enough for me to see the, very, very close detail of them, but mostly when I see triangle, like lights that are in a triangle. I don't see the actual ship, but I see 3 dots that equal a triangle, and I have filmed a lot of those too. But mainly I'm just seeing, what I'm thinking I'm seeing is the UFO is maybe cloaked and they're just showing me a light from it, or I don't think that it's the whole UFO light that I'm seeing. So, but when you look at it and you can see that all the lights are connected. So when they're moving. So I'm thinking triangles. I think that the triangle spaceship is what I'm coming across mostly.
Behoff has an interesting question here regarding the helicopters that seem to be surrounding you all the time. Have you ever tried taunting the choppers or waving at them, letting them know that you see them?
I am just this way. I am just being like ridiculous. I actually me and my son will blow them kisses. I told my son not to, but he did because I did. And we chase after it with the camera and let them know that we do not care. We're gonna keep doing this. So we try to have fun with it. We laugh. Liam yells, "Mommy, the black helicopter!" And I get my camera out and I start filming it. So yes, we interact with them. We wave and we try to we give peace signs a lot.
Well, that's nice. I mean,
Yeah.
you're being polite with the peace signs and everything. Absolutely, absolutely, and I would do something too. I'd probably, flash them my, my bare chest or something like that. It'd be ugly, it'd be hideous, but that's probably what I would do. But that's just me. That's just me.
No, I feel the need to it just makes me so mad that they're getting away with this. They are always they're not always aggressive, but they are. I mean, they're aggressive. But one night they flew so low at I think it was 12:30 because I have it on camera, and I have it on camera of them flying away, but they were still really close. They flew right over me, directly over me, to where I could feel it. I didn't know what was going on at first. And then I grabbed my phone and they circled and left. They circle my house and then fly directly between the tree. It's above the trees, but directly over me, where I am. They get aggressive at times. So it's crazy.
It is. It is very crazy indeed when that happens. I love Apollo's question here. He is asking, curious, Nikki, if you have felt or heard the vibration, felt or heard a hum frequency during your abductions, and or seen very bright white lights.
Okay, I'm glad because you just reminded me of something. During the abductions, after I hear the beep, I feel a very, very cold but hot, I don't know how to explain it, tingly feeling up my back right after I hear that beep and after my room goes into that weird dimensional place. I feel this exact familiar rush up my neck and my back every single time. I can't believe I forgot that. So that also happens before I film them and before I feel like I experience an abduction. Because sometimes you just don't know. You wake up and you're like, maybe I was. And some mornings you wake up and you're like, okay, I know. So that feeling comes often. I felt it in my hands before. I felt it all over. Okay, once I started feeling the implants, or feeling them in my skin and noticing they were there, my senses intensified to 100 million. I could feel everything. So much I could feel both. I still can, both pain and a good sensation on my arm. It's just so intensified. And my senses are too. I just am much more aware, and even tasting things. I can't eat certain foods now because it's just so overwhelming. Because it just, all of my senses just awoken, it seemed. So that was that was pretty crazy too. That's kind of part of it.
Eugene is asking, have you ever suffered from sleep paralysis and or abduction scars?
Okay, so the only time I ever experienced sleep paralysis, there are definitely a few times where when I was a teenager and younger where I definitely had that sensation. But it wasn't like very common. But I was partying a lot as a teenager too. But since I started this, I don't get sleep paralysis. But when I was getting clean from addiction, and I like for a while, I went through that a lot. And I would get stuck there, and I definitely feel those experiences are connected to the phenomenon. I think maybe, I mean, who knows, but I definitely think there is a connection to the phenomenon and sleep paralysis or whatever, however you say it.
Yeah, that is something that I could see as well. All right, let's get over to another question. This one coming from B. Hoff again. What about popping sensations and ringing in your ears, like
So
tinnitus?
yeah, so there when I first got sober and started going through this for about a month, my ears, like, I had to get an app so that I could sleep because they were vibrating. I mean, it was like I thought I didn't have a clue what was happening. I'm Googling tinnitus, but now that I hear the vibrations, they sound very similar to when I first was hearing it. But now it's not happening all the time. It's just right before bed that I typically hear it, or at abductions. So yeah, I think that's definitely a part of it too. What I've learned is there are so many aspects of this phenomenon. There is just so much to it, and there is so many connections, and it's crazy how much goes with it. And so yeah.
Okay, let's get to another question from our audience here. This one comes from Trinity. Do you think or feel like you've ever been used as a vessel for hybrid creation?
Okay, so that I get really bad migraines. Sometimes after I have an experience with an orb, and sometimes after I have an abduction experience. My whole life I've gotten these migraines, and I actually get something called migraine with aura. And about 30 minutes before I get an attack, I see these crazy, like, geometrical lights made of different lines and just all different shapes. They're all like geometrical lines, and then there are circles and weird patterns. And I mean, I am blinded by this for a good hour, and then I get this intense migraine. Before I got on medicine, I was like debilitated for days from I was so nauseous, I couldn't even move. I was just so sick. But now that I'm on medication, it's a lot better. But I noticed I do wonder about that because of all of these weird connections. I would hope that I'm okay with it if that's happening. But I mean, it has crossed my mind. I try. A lot of things have crossed my mind when I'm researching, who knows what is going on. I think I don't want to say that anything isn't a possibility, because it is at this point. I don't know, but I'm okay. Like, I'm mentally okay, whatever is happening.
You've made peace with it. You pretty much made peace with it.
Yeah, exactly. I've accepted it.
Do you want to accept it though?
I don't know. Yes, I want to accept it because I would rather than not hide from it. I don't really have a choice. I feel. That's all I feel. I mean, yes, I get, but then I try to think, I think that this has probably been happening for a very long time. And we just now have cell phones constantly on us. We're able to catch this. I think that it's been hidden for a very long time. I think that that's something that makes me feel better, that this has probably always been happening. So that makes, it, whatever is happening, I just have to be okay with it. So I try not to look at crazy stuff, but at the same time, I want to see everything because I realize that it might not just be positive. I want to know the truth. I'm not going to just be, set it, and you know what I mean? I'm not just going to say, oh, it's this way. I feel like I have so many more experiences to learn from ahead of me. I mean, my mind has already changed 5 times, like 10 times on what I feel is happening. So,
Okay, how has your own personal intuition changed through all of this?
okay, I've always had a crazy intuition. I have been able to read people very well. I feel other people's energy almost. I care so much about people. Yeah, individually and as a whole. I just really have a lot of feelings, I guess, for everything on this planet. But my intuition has just, it's crazy. I think it's always been like this, but now that I'm, it's a lot of it's with synchronicity too. It shows me, it proves, it tells it, they communicate with me through synchronicity, I believe, and guide me. So it's bizarre, but this is really it's just crazy.
It really is, because that level of contact can go anywhere, and in the end you don't know who you're really contacting with.
Right.
As the joke I like to say about this, Nikki, is it's almost like the old Kmart blue light special that all of a sudden beacons a billion miles into the sky, letting every alien species know that you're there, and they can come and hang out with you anytime they want. Do you put up protection for yourselves? Do you ground your property and any type of spiritual Zen type
Oh,
woo that helps you protect yourselves from anything negative?
well, I've been actually reading into that. I don't now, but I've been looking into like different things regarding spirituality, and I've heard sage. Do you know about, is sage supposed to be good to wear off? Are you talking? I don't know. I am open for suggestion for that, definitely. I just think more mentally, I just put out there that okay, I'm a huge, I believe in The Secret, or the law of attraction, where what you put out there, you get back. So that's why I am so stuck in my ways of being positive, because I feel like what I put out there is, we're all vibrating at a certain frequency. I definitely think the more positive I put out there, the more positive I'm going to get back. So that's kind of how I deal with that, I guess, is how I can answer that.
All right, we've got 5.5 minutes left tonight. Let's get you in a couple more audience questions here. This one from Game Vet. Any visions of a golden disc turning counterclockwise with weird patterns on it?
I can't think of a gold disc right now. No, most of the things I see are lights from it. And then I can see them when they're cloaked, when they're just flying in the sky. It's like there's they look like a big mirror or something floating through the sky. That's so I think I can see the depth of it, and I can see lights around it, those little bubbly lights. I see them too. That's how I kind of see the UFOs at night too, when they're not on, like showing their lights. So no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Sasquatch is asking, have you ever heard any voices from them during one of these events?
Okay, so I have not heard voices, but I have definitely, like, I don't know how to explain it. They communicate like from my bathroom window with me. Like they can send me emotions, their emotions, and I pick up, like, I think if we were going to hear a voice in our head, I think it would be maybe, I don't know, maybe it would be mine, I think. But I don't recall ever hearing a voice. Just telepathically, I think it's my voice, and it's mostly emotions, or I'm making up a voice for them. I don't know, but I can't think of anything right now. But something that happened when my son was little, and I was in his room and there was no one here. There was a knock on his door, and he was 2, and I was reading him a book to bed. He was getting ready to go to bed, and he's like, "Mommy, who knocked?" And it was bizarre. So and I have heard whispering in that little implant in my right ear. It's like a weird whisper. It's not English, but I hear like mumbling of some sort of something. So yeah, I have heard something through the implant. I'm not sure what it is.
Interesting. Very interesting conversation with you tonight. Where do you want this to go as we start to wind this down?
Oh, I don't.
What do you want out of it? What do you want out of it?
Oh, I just want people to know that this is real, and that people really are living with this every single day, and we need to listen, and we need to learn, and we need to stop pushing it away out of fear or caring what other people think. I'm going to say not one of my friends who I have known my entire life, not one of my friends, like outside of UFO Twitter, has said one thing to me about this. They like every picture of my son, everything else, but regarding any of the UFOs, none of my friends, except a few guy friends, but my girlfriends who I grew up with, not one of them has asked me one question. So stop caring what people think and start putting yourself in someone else's position. Think outside of the box. Realize that it's amazing that we're here standing in our bodies, conscious as it is. Anything can happen. We're here having this conversation. We're talking, we're thinking. That is a miracle. Anything is possible.
Final question for you tonight from Sasquatch. If you could make this all stop, would you do so?
No, I don't think so. I think I've actually thought about this. What scares me is waking up and then being gone. I know that's weird, but that's what concerns me. I don't know why, but that's the truth of it. I don't know. It scares me.
I can see where that would scare you too. Nikki, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on Spaced Out Radio tonight. You know, there's something different about having true experiencers on this show rather than researchers, scientists, giving their evidence and testimony of what they've found. And I think that you are amazing with how confident you are in telling your encounters and your experiences as you learn more about them. Continued success on your road, and you've definitely got aliens. So let's just admit it. You've got aliens.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Not a problem. And maybe build some posters for them helicopters too.
Okay. Oh, I will get clever with it.
Put a big Spaced Out Radio on there with my website. Yes, that would be great. Tell them to
I
tune
will.
on in. Nikki,
I
I'm going to get you to
will.
hold on 1 second here. Coming up next, we have John Hudson in the Unbiased UFO Report. We got Captain Shirk's Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. Great job tonight, Nick.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Lots of
I
clapping.
was nervous.
You
I was
were, but you did
nervous.
great.
Thank you.
I told you it would fly by.
I can't believe how quick that went. It's fun. It's
It
nice.
is.
People are wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
People can be very wonderful asking questions, and I love it. It's great. I love people who are open to these things.
Look at all the clapping for you coming in out of the chat room. They love you.
Thank you. I love them too.
They love you. Stay in touch.
I will.
I'm going to talk to Lorian Fenton about you.
Okay.
And drop your name. And she doesn't do Twitter, so if you can pass me your email address on DM on Twitter, that would be great. But I had a lot of fun with you tonight. Thank you.
I did too. Thank you for being so nice and cool to me.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
that's what we do. That's what we do. And experiencers, I got a soft spot because I am one.
Right. No, I feel you.
So, and yeah. All right. Well, we're going to let you go so you can get some sleep because it's 1:30 in the morning where you are.
Yes.
And, but I appreciate you and continued success with what you're looking for. If you need anything, always reach out to the SOR family. We're here for you.
I will. Thank you so much.
All right, Nick. Take care.
Thank you.
Night. Good night. She's fantastic. Let's just be honest. She's fantastic. Nice hair, too. Did anybody else notice her hair? Fantastic hair. Yes. So we did very well with her tonight, and she did very well in explaining her story. And that was pretty damn good. Pretty damn good as we continue on here on Spaced Out Radio. Waiting for Stetson John to hook up with us here. And I like that interview. I really, really like that interview. And I think she was candid. I think she was real. And I think that she, has a lot of experiences that are locked in there that she needs somebody to unlock. And hopefully we can get that happening. All right, there's Stetson John. How you doing, buddy? Can you hear us okay? I wonder if he can hear us. Can you hear me?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me all right?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Well, then we got you.
No, I can hear you. Hold up a second. Yep. No, I can hear you. Yep. I got. Yep, we're good.
Hey, there's a light shining right off the board above your head.
Yeah, that's weird, huh?
Yeah.
Let me tip that.
Is there any way we could move that? Because it's like.
Is that better or?
No, it's the same.
Hold on.
Push it more. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Maybe I think normally I sit up more. I think maybe normally my head covers it or something.
Yeah. Is your chair low?
I don't know. I don't know. It's been one of those days.
You're looking like a 5'2" guy right now.
Well, it's funny. I feel that way sometimes. My little sister is 5'11", and my little brother is 6'4". So,
holy cow!
You definitely, yeah.
And how tall are you?
I'm just a little over 6 feet. I'm probably like 6 feet, maybe a half an inch. But I was a great example of why you shouldn't start smoking when you're young, because you do a whole double your heights when you're 2.5. Nailed my brother's height, nailed my sister's height, said I should be 6'2", and instead I'm just barely 6'1". And I started smoking when I was like 12.
Oh goodness. Yeah, God couldn't even give me 5'9". I have 5'8 3/4. So pissed off. So pissed off about that. Hold on. I'm just messaging Merle here. Give me 2 seconds here.
No, I think once we get rid of racism and sexism, the last big thing will be getting rid of height biases.
Height biases. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to get going here in like 15 seconds. So hold on, okay?
Sounds good.
We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this planet we call Earth. And we want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and following us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. You know what? It's that time once again as we bring in John Hudson for the Unbiased UFO Report. This is a segment where we get into UFOs, everything that's going on in the news regarding things flying in our skies. This is where we bring in the legendary Stetson-wearing John Hudson to take us down the Woo train and the UFO news. John, there's been a little bit of controversy happening right now in the UFO world, especially on Twitter and Facebook, regarding a conference coming up in a couple of weeks that involves Chris Mellon and Luis Elizondo. Now, this isn't a cheap conference. It is literally costing people $250 American to catch the event. Tell me about it.
So this is such a challenging topic, right? Because, you know, from one point of view, we are a community that is against hoarding of information. We're all about, Freedom of Information Acts. We're all about disclosure of information. We don't want anyone policing or holding our data back from us. And then you have the situation where there's this conference announced where they're going to say, all this new information is going to be given. We have all these great speakers, and you can come see us for just $249.95, right? That's a very hard pill to swallow. At the same time, a conference is not a cheap thing to hold, right? And so I don't think any of us would want someone to take a huge hit on that. I don't have any problem with someone, breaking even plus a little extra on the side for doing a conference. And in the case of this conference, they're doing one of these virtual things where you avatar and walk around and they try to make it realistic. That costs money too. But because there's no transparency, there's this perception that the speakers are getting paid, which who knows if they are or not. It's very possible they are not, and the conference is making all the money. But right now, with the economy the way it is in most places, $249 is a huge pill to swallow, especially considering the fact that most people don't have a huge budget for doing this kind of research in the first place. At the same token, if I look at the conferences I usually go to, $250 is dirt cheap. Like most 5-6 day conferences I go to are like $3,000. So, it's you can argue really well on both sides of it. And I think part of the problem is that there's a complete lack of transparency. So you don't know where those fees are going. And second, there was immediately $100 discount offered, which gives this impression that there's like incredible margins in that price tag. And so why are they trying to, get people to pay $2.49 if they're so willing to give it to everyone for $1.49, right off the bat, just depending on what radio station you listen to. And the problem with this conference is this not only has Christopher Mellon, but this also has Eric Weinstein. And I don't know how familiar you are with Eric, but Eric is touted as the mathematician with the most followers on Twitter. He likes that title. He's one of the smarter humans that I've run into. He does a great podcast. He's on with Lex a lot. And he's this guy that recently came out in favor and wrote this really nice apology to the community saying, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I was lied to. They kept it from me too. I'm mad. I'm mad that we were kept out of this research. And he apologized to everyone on Twitter. So this is a cool cat, right? I mean, he's a smart dude. And he's speaking at this conference, and that's the first time he's ever spoken at such a conference. And I can't listen to it because, I don't have the $2.49 to give up. So it's a really hard conversation to have.
Well, I mean, I think the big thing with Twitter is, and the argument there that I read wasn't so much about the price of the conference that was hefty at $250, which for us Canadians here, that's well over 300. And, but the big thing was people complaining that Luis Elizondo and Chris Mellon were getting paid to do this. Now, both, if I'm correct, both Elizondo and Mellon have come out and said they're not accepting a dime for this, for speaking at this event. But that's
what I would expect.
Yeah, I know I'm in the minority here, but I have no problem whatsoever if they were to get paid. Time is not free. We have to earn, as a radio show, all of our listeners who are listening right now, we had to earn their time. Yep. Because we had to be entertaining. If I go to a conference and that takes away from the radio show or my own personal time, takes away from my family, I have to be paid for that because that is my time that I'm giving up for this event, and, it doesn't matter whether it's cash in hand or paying for my flight or my food or anything. I do expect some sort of remuneration. And a lot of others do too. So I know there is a giant group of people out there who follow this topics very, very closely, who don't believe that any UFO researcher, any Sasquatch researcher, or any paranormal researcher should make money off of this. But you're allowed to make money off of something you love to do. And
it's very frustrating. Please go ahead.
If the number one researcher right now or person in ufology right now is Luis Elizondo, that's like telling LeBron James or Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan or pick a baseball player that they should not be paid for doing something that they love. It's ridiculous.
Yep. I know. And the thing is I mean, even me, if I'm invited to go be an analyst at the conference, I may not get paid for it, but they comp my room, they pay for my flight, they pay for my food. I mean, and if they can't do that, I usually won't go because I'm not going to fit that bill. Right. And so I think any of us with professional background in a speaking type situation, I think we're a lot more tolerant of it. But I think a lot of what you said a minute ago really comes into it, and that is there's this culture aspect to this community, which is that if you're getting paid for it, you cannot be trusted. And that's a cultural thing that we fight, and it's ridiculous because everyone's got to eat. Everyone's got to pay their bills. Everyone's got to pay their rent or their mortgage. As you said, even if it's not what they do full time, if they took time off from work to go do it, they're losing. We have to be realistic about this, man. I mean, we're all humans. We all have to eat. But at the same time, I do believe that just because of how sensitive this community is to the withholding of information, that one, they need to be very transparent about where those fees go. And two, I would like to see some formal announcement that all that information will be made available to the public for free at some point in the future. whether it's a month from now or 2 months from now or whatever, just some point in the future, it will be available for, or, maybe for a much lower fee. But I think a lot of this is a culture problem.
Yeah, especially I don't consider it a cultural problem. I consider it a community problem. That this community does not believe that people should be rewarded for their hard work in any type of financial term. And I'm not in favor of that. Not because Spaced Out Radio or our company's SOR Media Ventures Limited is a business, but people's time is worth something. If I don't put on an entertaining show, I don't get an audience. You don't get, we don't get followers on YouTube. And contrary to the rumored belief out there, we are not buying our followers. People are choosing to follow our show. Okay.
Dave, if you were buying followers, you'd have a lot more.
I can tell you right now, if I was buying followers, we would be having that close to 100,000 mark so I can get the plaque right now and be making some money off of it. So let's move on here because there's an interesting comment by former Senator of Nevada, Harry Reid. Explain what's going on.
Yeah. So my when I initially ran into this article, I really took it as just another one of the many articles that's coming out in Popular Mechanics. This one was in the Raw Story Report. They pop up where they usually don't bring anything new, but they do a nice synopsis of the situation for new people that don't know what's going on and for their readership. And so I like to keep track of those because I think they're nice. And I think the volume of them is interesting, but usually what's in them isn't. This was the exception, mainly because of things that you've talked about and I've talked about and other people have talked about. And that is the rub of the dating maneuvers that happened with this report. This whole idea that they can, whitewash the past and only start at a future date. And it turns out that Senator Reid agrees with us. And he was quoted as saying that there are decades of reports and investigations about UFOs to uncover what they are. None of those were included in the report. And it said Reid wants to know why only sightings between 2004 and 2021 were the only things considered. And so it was, it doesn't mean anything's going to happen, but for me, I guess I should say it did my heart good that Senator Reid agrees with many of us and was willing to go out there and make a public statement about it.
Well, I think it's about time someone stood up for that. 2004 is garbage.
Yeah.
It's absolute garbage. And anybody who sits there and says, well, it's good enough for right now. No, it's not. The secrets that they are trying to keep on these topics happened between 1945 at the end of World War II and 2004.
Yep. Well, and that report wasn't even 2004 to now. It was really just 2019. It was till now. It was really only the last 2 years. Those 104 cases just came from the previous 24 months.
Exactly. Well, anytime Harry Reid speaks up in defense of that, I appreciate that. I'm not a, he reminds me of Canada's Paul Hellyer, though. You had all this time to do something when you were in power, and you chose to do nothing when you were in power publicly. And now that you're out, you're going to be a big mouth about the subject. I don't like that. I think that's cheesy.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think what it speaks to is exactly the problem that Elizondo had with man, in my head I always think of him as Mad Dog, and I should know the gentleman's name, but the man who was Secretary of Defense at the time was that essentially it was his handlers, it was his advisors that were so worried about their manicured control of his image that they were afraid it would tarnish it. And I think that there's that kind of layer behind every single one of these individuals in power. There's some group of people that's managing their image, and they're the ones that keep them from talking about the issues they really care about. And so as soon as they retire, those people disappear, and suddenly what they really care about comes out.
All right, quickly here, as we got about 90 seconds. J.J. Abrams, the famed director, has a new UFO series coming out this weekend.
Yeah, and so we mentioned this before. It's just one of many that's coming out. Everyone's kind of doing one at this point. But the reason specifically why I wanted to make a note of this one is because while it airs this weekend, the cool part is that the very first case that he's tackling is the Phoenix Lights, which is a case that's kind of near and dear to the hearts of a lot of us, and one that a lot of us don't really feel gets enough coverage. And so I think everyone will be really pleased that that Mr. Abrams has decided to tackle the Phoenix Lights as in his first episode.
I think it's great too, because coming off of the report that only goes to 2004, Abrams gets to hammer them with the Phoenix Lights back in 1997, where there was over 60,000 eyewitnesses in that Phoenix metropolis area that actually saw it. John, I'm going to say a big thank you for coming on the show tonight. We will talk to you in a couple of nights' time. Great reporting as per usual on the Unbiased UFO Report. We'll talk to you soon.
And just real quick, I just wanted to say a thank you to Nikki. That was a fantastic showing for her, and I was really impressed with her, with how brave she was. That was cool.
I thought she did well too. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Take it easy.
All right, here we go with the news. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR News Wire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the ufological. Now, something we think crashed in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania on the night of December 9th, 1965. People as far away as Windsor, Ontario watched a fireball streak through the sky, sputtered hot debris of metal before slamming into Kecksburg at night. The U.S. Army sealed off the area and recovered whatever had fallen from the sky. Still no solid answers as to what it is, but apparently new documents tied to an old lawsuit against NASA have uncovered a few missing pieces. And a FOIA request by John Greenwald's The Black Vault, clearinghouse for declassified documents, has uncovered new documents related to Project Moondust, a sustained effort to recover objects and debris from spacecraft that have crashed to Earth. Multiple people have been searching for these records for decades, and NASA has long claimed they were either destroyed or lost. Now, investigative journalist Leslie Keene hoped to uncover the truth in 2002 and went on a hunt for information about Moondust, but years later, she sued NASA, claiming it was holding back after previously promising to conduct an expedited search for the files related to the 1965 Kecksburg UFO crash. NASA has stonewalled and was withholding documents, leaving no recourse but this one, Keene had stated. So, what's happening with the Black Vault? Let's find out. Got 220 pages back, including some fragments of the Project Moondust records. Files also detailed the reasons why they were so hard to find. NASA had destroyed many of them as part of a routine cleaning out of old records. The 220 pages are an interesting grab bag of NASA communications describing struggles to track down records and State Department communications about Moondust. The diplomatic cables are particularly interesting and paint a picture of NASA in the 1960s rushing around the world, attempting to pick up every scrap that fell from the sky or for study. For example, one diplomatic cable recounts the difficulty NASA had in collecting a piece of debris that fell in Zambia. How cool is that? Go to theblackvault.com. You can check it out for yourself. All right. So on September 15th, if all goes to plan, Jared Isaacman, the billionaire CEO of Shift 4 Payments, and 3 other private citizens will strap into a SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft, all 4 seats paid for by Isaacman, and blast off into orbit on the mission dubbed Inspiration 4. 3 days later, they will return to Earth. Unlike most of the rest of us, they have spent time off the planet. But will that earn them the label of astronaut? Time was, it was easy to recognize as astronaut, but they're all test pilots. They wore silvery spacesuits and signature buzz cuts, and they had the perfect flyboy names like Deke, Gus, Al, and Gordo. So, what about now? Do things change? Let's see. Well, Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson aim to try and make that happen. They went up, but are they astronauts? Now the debate is, what is an astronaut and what is not? I don't know. Go spend some time in space. I think 3 days, you should be an astronaut. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. What are the 3 albums that really stuck with you and really helped make an impact on your life? Start with Mickle. Poison's Open Up and Say Ah. C.C. DeVille's guitar solo, especially on the song Nothing But a Good Time. Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. Paradise City, baby, all the way. That album just blew his brains apart. And Queen's Greatest Hits 1 and 2. God bless Freddie Mercury. Greatest lead singer of all time. Axl Rose, number 2. All right, Devil's Reject, M83, Mumford & Sons, and The Chronic. Jammer says Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Boards of Canada, Music Has the Right to Children. Future, Sound of London by the Dead Cities. All right, Drew. Dave, I already responded on Facebook. I'll name another 3. Judas Priest, Stained Glass, Wasp, first album, and King Diamond, Fatal Portrait. He's a metalhead, that Drew Morris. Yes, he is. Anthony, Slayers, Rain in Blood, The Planet Smashers, Life of the Party, and Misfits, Earth AD. Wow. Cassandra, she's a metalhead too. Metallica, Master of Puppets. Pearl Jam's 10. Doesn't every Pearl Jam song sound the same? Yeah, it sounds all the same. And REM's Automatic for the People. That was a good album. Brucey Bruce, C.W. McCall's Convoy. Come on, let them truckers roll, 10-4. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, how can you not? My top 3, I can tell you, Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses. Def Leppard, Pyromania. And number 3, because I love them, Skid Row's Slave to the Grind. Oh, yeah, horns up the entire way growing up. You have to be. Big thank you to everybody taking part in the Thought of the Dave. Thank you to Captain Shirk for the SOR Newswire, John Hudson for the UFO Report, and our guest tonight, Nikki Noelle, talking about what it's like to be an ET contactee. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight on YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Twitch, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, Spreaker, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, yep, we've got room for them too. Good night. It's a good show. I'm Chad Smith, and we own the night. That's true. Holy cow. Ooh, that's a good show. Good show. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm gonna have some iced tea. Chad Smith. That's all I know. I am Chad Smith. Have a good night, Chadster. Super Quest, how you doing, buddy? Every night, believe it or not, ever since Roy Washington has been listening to the show, every night he puts out Rockin' Out and usually something else about the ending of the show. Take us home, Captain, he'll say. And that is, when we talk about little special things about this show and all of us here together each night, that is one of those little things that absolutely I look forward to each and every night, is these little things that like that. And I think it's great. I really do. And I love it. I do. I really love it. So it makes it special and makes it real and unique. And it's friggin' awesome. It really is. Aaron Fields, how you doing? All right. I can go in there. Who's on the show tomorrow night? I'll tell you here momentarily. I don't even know. I think it's Mike Ricksecker. Let me find out. Oh, I got an email. Yeah, I'll do that. Brian, if you're listening, if you're listening, I will do that. I'll get that off to him for you. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Oh, looking at the schedule. Yeah, Mike Ricksecker, August 5th. It's today. Lots, you're looking beautiful tonight. The lovely and talented Lots. Dr. Z. Smith, or if you're Canadian, Dr. Zed Smith. So, here's something cool. Here's something really cool. My daytime boss got me a present. He got me 1.4 million Scoville unit scorpion peppers. He's like, I thought you would enjoy these. I'm going to enjoy them. I'm not going to lie. I am so going to enjoy them. I'm thinking of making a big bowl of chili and putting some of those in there. Probably just one or two. I want to see how fucking hot I could get it. I am not eating. I'm going to tell you guys right now. I did the one chip challenge. I am not eating one of these. Don't even ask me to do it. I am not doing it, and I cannot be pressured. Because I know somebody like FAP or somebody like Cat the Kit is going to be like, oh, come on, Dave, just do it. Just do it. And I got sucked into doing the one chip challenge a couple years ago. No. No, sir. Hey, Emilios, how you doing? No, the scorpion peppers are just there to hurt. I am not eating one. No friggin' way. So before any of you twisted people think, oh, it's going to be fun to bug Dave about that. And we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Yeah, Fabster, you're absolutely right. I I was having some million Scoville unit hot sauce. I didn't realize I got any on my pinky, and my eye got itchy, and I went like this, just on the side of my eye, and holy cow, it was hot. Aaron Fields, what time is it in Canada right now? It is 12:05 Pacific, which means it is 1:05 Mountain Time, 2:05 Central, 3:05 Eastern, 4:05 in the Maritimes, and 4:35 in Newfoundland. Chris Mo, I got some hot sauce that'll burn your panties off. Just saying. That's what we got here. This is number 3. Hey, Fap, why are you so late? Were you taking Vinny's shift at the bingo hall or what? You be honest with us. Probably the worst hot sauce I have in my house right now is this stuff from Vietnam that my dad got. He got it at a Vietnamese restaurant in my old hometown. And the guy who he bought it off of, this Vietnamese gentleman who owned the restaurant, looked my dad square in the eye and said, "This will get your son good." I'm honestly afraid of this. This bottle is this big. I may be through the first 16th of it. I mean, that hurt. Every time I look at that bottle, it just intimidates me. Very rare that I get intimidated by a hot sauce. Oh, thanks, lots. I appreciate that. Thank you. I very rarely get intimidated by hot sauce, but this one scares me. It's meant to just hurt, and it does. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah. I'm editing a show. I almost forgot what I was doing there. All right, best hot sauce. Oh God, Bumblefoot hot sauce at the Bumblefucked. Although I haven't tried it yet, I'm gonna get some of that. Probably the worst one I've ever had is it's Vietnamese stuff, but the second hottest I've had is Aubrey D's Scorpion Death Sauce or something like that. That thing is horrible. I still have some upstairs. What the hell is this thing going on here? And yeah, I've had that. That one hurts. That one is quite painful. I have this Uncle Dale and his Power Stash actually sent me a Christmas present a couple of years ago, about a year and a half ago, and it was like this grenade, hot sauce in like a glass grenade, and that stuff was really tasty. It was hot, but it was tasty. Not demented hot, but really good. Finish that off. I've got like 20 different bottles of hot sauce that I haven't even opened yet. Did I ever show you guys my collection of hot sauce bottles? Have I? I think a few of you may have seen them. Here. Show you. All right. So, hi, I'm Dave. Do we have much room? This is my hot sauce bottle collection here. This is all hot sauce bottles that I've collected over the years that I've finished. Like the Bomb, that's about a 1 million Scoville unit. Scorned Woman. Fire Mild. What's this one here? Blair's Death. That one was pretty warm. I had a lot of them in there. There's the beard collection. Yeah. This is, I'll show you here. This is the studio. So that's the main screens right there that we are viewing. That here is the big board that runs everything. Hold on. That's not supposed to happen. Come on. That there, that big TV there is that is where the YouTube chat goes. If you see me looking up to the left, that's where that goes. That laptop there runs the Spreaker portion. There's a guitar. I gotta do something with this part of the wall. Yeah, it's a little boring. And then back there's all the collective stuff. Here, we'll move the chair this way. I like to put up stuff that we get from the audience, like that picture there. There. Another one in the corner there. There we go. That one, that one. My Marvin the Martian stuff back there. Alien, more pictures. For all you Guns N' Roses people, my bottle of Night Train. That's real Night Train. Has the price on it and everything. $8.99. Yeah. So it's kind of what we do here. Yeah. That's the cave, man. That's the headquarters, HQ. Magic 8 Ball. Right there. As you can see, it's off. Philip Bacco, what's happening? Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Got a lot of stuff. I got to clean it up a little bit in here because it just gets to the point where, you know, like any office, you let it get out of hand, right? Try and keep the gear clear. Hey, ufologist, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Yeah. What else can I show you? I got a bunch of dirty Fylth drawings in here. My hats. I don't watch our Keith Andrews YouTube channel. Actually, I shouldn't say I don't. I do. I don't have a lot of time, but when he posts them for me, he sends me to them, and I quickly scroll through them. God, I'm gonna clean this place tomorrow. Driving me nuts. Fap, you would never get your head in here. I'm gonna be honest. You would never get your head in here. Good night, Mennonite Abe. You know what? Our Keith Andrews, love him or hate him, he is one of the nicest human beings I have ever met. Really. And I mean that sincerely. He means the world no harm. He's just trying to do his little piece to try and, you know, make the world a better place. And I'm proud to call him a friend, man. I really am. I absolutely love the guy. He'll be on Friday. Yeah, our Keith will be here on Friday. You know, I mean, yeah, we all love the woo, and he's way out there when it comes to the woo. Good night, D. Snyder or Swagger. You take care. Yeah, he's a little crazy when it comes to the woo and everything. But honestly, he's very innocent. And that's why, like, when I see critics on him and people just kind of hammering on him, that's what, like, literally my blood boils and goes from like 0 to 100 in like less than a second, because he is just a lot of these critics out there, whether it's like we were talking with Nikki earlier tonight or somebody like our Keith Andrews, nobody stood in their shoes. Nobody had, and yet we all want to say, no, that's fake. That's not real. You have no proof, all this kind of stuff. Immediately and try and throw logic into the illogical. And it's hard because your normal and my normal are completely different. Completely different. And it's just, when you see somebody like Keith and you get to know Keith, and I don't know Nikki very well. I just, today was the first time I talked to her, but she seems pretty genuine. When you the Ronald Penton. But when you get to know these people on a personal level, that's where I think a lot of people's attitudes would change. I really do. Because, somebody like Keith, especially, I mean, he is such a nice gentleman, and love him to death. Trust me, and I've taken a lot of criticism over the years. 63460 seems wrong. I've taken a lot of criticism over the years, get that idiot off the air, get that dummy off the air, get that liar. He's obviously making it up. In every show, we have one or two people who are like, cut him off the air, get rid of him now, you're wasting airtime. No, we're having fun. We're having fun. We are. We're having fun. Oh. So that's pretty much it. It is what it is. I don't know Keith's address. I really don't. I can get it for you, Chad, if you want to do that. Hey, Fap, when's the last time you measured your head? Be honest. Yeah, I don't know if he could get that coffee pot fixed or not. I don't know. What's happening, gorgeous Jean Beckett? Makes sense, Fap. Dave, you've been taken by aliens. Any UFO? What did they do? They implanted me in the back of my head the first time. That's where I woke up on the table. The second time I recall was I was surrounded by 5 of them. And I remember, and this is what doesn't make sense to me. I remember one of them saying, so they had a hold of my wrists, and the grays these were like 5-6 feet tall grays, and they had a hold of my wrists, and I was coming to, and I remember what was weird is I remember hearing one say, "Oh shit, he's waking up. He's waking up. Get him out of here now." And I remember my eyes popped open. There was a gray with really big slanted eyes standing right in front of me, and I got my left hand free because I'm left-handed. And I punched the bastard as hard as I could. And I remember him going flying back. And then all of a sudden I was out again. I was out again. Excuse me. Yeah, they actually, and this is what screws me up because I clearly heard, clear as day, "Oh shit, he is waking up." And so I don't know who had me, but I mean, when they had a hold of my wrist, it was so weak. It was like it would be like a 4-year-old child holding onto your wrist, saying you can't pull away, and you pull it away. They felt like That one felt like rubber, or that fake body stuff that they use, like what's they use for like testing, like crash test dummies. They use that mold, that almost like that thick jello type material. I don't know what it's called. And that's what it felt like. It would be hitting that. I am sleepy. These two should be done. That's done. That's done. That's a number 3. Yeah. And so if I saw a craft again, like close up, like I did back in 2014, one that would be like the one that I saw 5 days before Samantha and I went in the forest, I'd walk up to it now. Slowly, cautiously, but I would totally walk up. Like I got my eyes closed and I could see that craft right now. And I wish I would have went up there. I wish I wasn't so paranoid at that time about, the movie Fire in the Sky. I have personally seen four different kinds of grays. 5. If you include Carl, 5 different kinds of grays and one andromedan. I think that's what Samantha and I saw was an andromedan. So I'm up to 6. That was that question right there. Nikki, have all your ET experiences been with grays? Every one except the one in the forest with Samantha. I haven't seen any mantid beings. I haven't seen any Arcturians, or maybe they were Arcturians, not Andromedans. I haven't seen any Anunnaki. Maybe. I know they're around though. I haven't seen any reptilians or anything like that. Davey is tired. Mike Ricksecker, tomorrow night, people. We're talking the Alaskan Triangle. And thank you tonight to Lots, Linsos, Ozzy Steve, Andrew, Ben, Apollo, Chad, Science Bob, Pascal times 2, Tim, Simply Coco, and Michael again. I really do appreciate your love and support of this show. Mike Ricksecker tomorrow night once again. I'm going to bed, guys. I've lost steam here. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Thank you to all the veterans who listen to this show. We absolutely love you and support you. And thank you to all of our regulars in the chat room. You know who you are. You guys are the best audience ever. Take care.